We might not need much, but if you would like to maybe grab a block. If you don't have one, you know by now there's other things you can use. We will use the block, of what it's for today will be mainly underneath the buttocks towards the end, and maybe to sit on also towards the end of the class. And as you all know me quite well by now, I suggest something, we may or may not get there. So let's see what's going to happen. I will put an extra light on, which I kind of forgot about. Just making sure that you can see me properly. And we will begin our practice on our backs. So have a block or something like that ready, and then lie down on your back. And to begin with, you can be really comfortable as usual. We will also start moving from our backs, but for now, just being there and lying there in comfort, which could mean you could also have a light cushioning underneath the head, or one under the knees, if that is what you are enjoying. So finding your way onto your backs, and when you are ready, you might just drop and close the eyes. If the closing of the eyes is a challenge, as usual, it's not essential. You could simply steady your gaze, which is basically what we do when we've got the eyes closed as well. We're steadying our inner gaze point, so that we are better focused. Now for the practice today, a card came up from the chakra deck, and it's called Bittersweet. Someone commented that I found something positive in wearing a mask. This goes a bit into that direction, and I often say that there's no such thing as just the challenge. There's always balance in our lives, but sometimes they don't come at the same time. We just have to trust that there is balance. So bittersweet. It says here about the card in general, there is an inner strength here, helping you to rise above circumstances and to do the right thing. It is time to set aside your personal agenda for the good of the group. The person you are becoming is capable of more than you imagined. And a short sentence, maybe a theme for the practice. A window is opened as a door gently closes. Maybe you have some window in mind that's opening for you, or maybe you just had a door closing. Maybe you're somewhere in between. And the same as usual, we can translate that onto the mat as we practice, as we might feel ourselves somewhere in between. Maybe there's a challenge in the body. Maybe we have just come through a challenge. Or maybe things are just looking one way or the other currently. So noticing that as you're lying here. Noticing yourself just being there. Noticing any type of tension that you can notice now in the physical body. And try and release that tension as you become aware of it. Sometimes we are not really aware of where we're holding these energy barriers. This is a time where you could relax into them. allowing your breath to begin to deepen now. And as you're deepening your breath, just noticing, is there a particular way your body wants you to breathe at this moment? As you are now with a deeper breath, noticing the pattern that your body chooses naturally. Leave the pattern the same if it works for you, but change your awareness now as you're breathing in to completely soften the belly. It might open up, and just focusing on the inhalation for now and the belly softening. An area that we as women oftentimes think, oh, we need to look a certain way. And oftentimes this is where the holding tension, maybe we don't even notice it anymore as we draw in the abdomen. I would love you to relax into the way it is. And then focusing as you continue that, the relaxing of your belly on the in-breath, then focusing now more on the exhalation, but not drawing the whole abdomen in as you're breathing out, more so specifically drawing the lower abdominal muscles in, and you can get a sense of pulling them down towards your tailbone. But as you inhale, again, return to your soft abdomen. And play with that for a little while, not compromising the length or the depths of your breathing, just adding that to your way of fully breathing in and out. What we're ideally doing here is relaxing our whole pelvic floor on the inhalation and activating it on the exhalation. This is not to look a certain way. This is more to strengthen the base, to keep a hold of the inner organs, as well as improving our general posture. You might even choose to keep it this way, if that is something you would consider. At least for the time that we are on our backs. Now, if the cushioning underneath the head is quite thin, you might keep it there. We just don't want the head to tilt forward or fall backwards either. Maintaining a relaxed and long neck in its natural curve. I would, however, invite you, if you've got a bolster underneath your knees, to maybe just bend the knees and push that out and away, so that we can all step the feet onto the ground. Just loosely for now, as we bring the right knee over the chest and just placing it there for now. You could then choose to drop the left knee slightly out to the side or keep the foot on the ground and begin to circle the right knee. And as you're circling it, notice the pelvis might want to move along. If this feels good, allow it, but don't let it go in just one direction. And if it doesn't feel good, then stabilize with the lower abs. Changing direction. And then have a pause. Embrace the knee now, draw it into the chest, and there's the moment where you could lengthen your left leg out long. As you're holding your knee hugged into the chest, notice how it feels to point through the left foot or to flex it and choose the positioning that is right for you. As you're next exhaling, lift your nose up towards your knee and maybe pause there for a moment. Then release the head back onto the ground. Let go of the hands and extend your leg up to the ceiling. Slide your left foot back onto the ground. The arms are resting comfortably, but you're now allowing your left knee to fall out and your right leg to do the same. So let them move away from each other to a point where you can still hold. Now please flex the right foot so the right leg is engaged in its hold. You might need that little bit of lower ab strength to hold here and support your lower back. Then bring both legs back to the center. Slide the left leg back out as you bend in your right knee. Take your left hand to this right knee, and on the out, guide it across the body carefully into a twist. The body is still quite cold, so be gentle with yourself. Maybe your shoulders remain grounded here. The gaze could stay up towards the ceiling or roll to either side if that suits you. Allowing yourself to stay here, and maybe you can return to the breath as you're relaxing into the belly on the inhalation and gently drawing on the lower abs on the exhalation. And as you might do so, just noticing if that changes anything within your posture, the way you're feeling. Then let's bend the left knee in as well. Take your right arm across, and as you're lying here on the side, please do put something underneath the head. And if you didn't bring a cushioning, maybe just roll the mat up a little bit to cover the head. Now, the hands are touching, your knees might be together, you're lying here on your side. As you're breathing in, reach your right hand even further forward, slide it along the floor. And as you're breathing out, slide the hand across the body and go back into a twist, and maybe now following the hand with your gaze. On a breath in, slide the arm forward. On a breath out, go into the twist. And repeat that. Inhaling, reaching forward. And exhaling into the twist, and this time maybe we're holding the twist again. Noticing that this twist might feel a little bit different. Yet retreat back into the breaths where the belly is relaxing and slightly contracting on the exhalation. Then take both knees back into the center, adjusting the pelvis gently, placing your arms back down by your sides. As you take a breath in, just to tilt the pelvis, and the spine is now flattening. And when breathing out, let the pelvis rock forward again. So inhaling to tilt the pelvis, and the spine is flattening out. And on the exhalation, just letting that go. Breath in to tilt. Breath out to relax. So there should be that gentle rocking as you continue that in your own pace of the pelvis moving forward and backward. Not much else quite yet. I would ask you to hold when your neck's tilting so the spine is flat on the ground, and just holding here for a little while. Then on the next exhalation, squeeze the buttocks and lift the hips, but only the hips. Keep the spine on the ground. You still need your legs to stand on. And then releasing the buttocks muscles and the pelvis, relaxing the arms again. Lifting now your left knee in towards the chest. Keep it there loosely. You can choose to keep your right foot on the ground or let the right knee open to the side, your choice. Beginning to circle your left leg. Again, start to notice how it feels, that the pelvis might be moving along with these circles. If it feels nice, comforting, keep it that way. Otherwise, engage a bit more into your core muscles and stabilize in the pelvis. And changing direction. Then a pause. Extending the leg out long. Flex through the foot. And let your right knee as well as your left leg open to the sides and pause there. Noticing how it feels, where your challenges are, what might feel pleasant. Coming back into the center, bending the left knee. Give the left knee a hug into the chest. And you might choose to extend your right leg out long. Noticing as you're holding here whether it feels better to point the right foot or to extend out through the heel of that foot and hold it this way. Inhaling. And when exhaling, lifting your nose up towards your knee. Maybe holding here for a moment. And then releasing the body back down. Allowing your right hand to be on the knee, the left arm to move out to the side. And for the next out breath, then guiding your knee across the body. You might choose to look towards the knee. You might choose to look away from it. Or maybe not changing your gaze at all and just looking at the ceiling. Allowing yourself to breathe. And then we will extend the movement again. By drawing your right knee up underneath and rolling over so that the left hand touches the right. Again, if you don't have anything underneath the head, you might at least roll up the mat lightly. As you're next inhaling, reach forward into the left arm, let it slide forward. And when you're breathing out, slide it across the body and open all the way backwards. Let's repeat that. Inhaling, reaching forward, and exhaling into a twist. Once more, breathing in. And exhaling, and we're holding here once more. Just in this openness, allowing the breath to be soft in the belly as it comes in. And maybe the slight activation of the lower abdomen as you're breathing out. Lifting your knees back into center. Adjusting the pelvis. And I would love you to just straighten both legs out if this works for you. To take an even deeper breath and stretch the arms over the head as you're pointing your feet. And then lowering the arms by the sides on the exhalation and pulling the toes up as you're extending out through your heels. Let's do that again as you breathe in. Point your feet and lift the arms over the head. And on the out breath, flexing the feet and releasing your arms down by your sides. Once more, the same movement, breathing in. Pointing the feet, extending the body. On the out breath, flex the feet and bring your arms down by your sides. Now, you might keep your feet flexed, your arms along the sides of the body. Or if you prefer to have a bit more swing, you can extend the arms over the head. As we will rise up into sitting now, but what I'd like you to consider is that this movement might not be for you, and you could keep your arms by your sides and support yourself. If you're extending the arms over the head, hook up the thumbs and spread out your fingers. Take a deep breath in, push the breath out of the mouth, swing your arms up, rising into a tall seated position. And then releasing your hands down by your sides. So while we're sitting, the hands are down flat by the sides of the hips. The legs are extended and the heels might even lift a little bit off the floor. So we're keeping a nice and tall spine for the moment. Then release the feet, relax them, maybe even wiggle your toes. We'll ask you to swing the feet around and come to stand up on your knees. Have the knees a little bit separate. Bringing the palms to touch in front of the chest. Feet can either be flat on the ground really, or the toes tucked under. Whatever feels better for you. Take a breath in now. Open the arms, maybe lift your gaze. And as you're breathing out, keeping it simple, the hands coming back in front of the chest. We're preparing here for a gentle camel. Inhaling, open the arms, open the chest, lift your gaze. And the breath out to bring the hands together. Repeat that once more and pay attention that your buttocks muscles are lightly switched on as you're inhaling. And then breathe out and release. On your next breath in, reach your right arm up. You might follow it with the gaze as you're breathing out. Move it backwards and maybe place the hand into your lower back. There's an option here to open and lift through the left arm. I keep my gaze slightly back for this one. Your choice, your neck. Bring your left hand back into heart space and join it with the right hand. On the next breath in, reach your left arm up. You might follow it with the gaze. As you're breathing out, move it back behind and place the hand into the lower back. Your choice to extend the right arm as well on the next breath in. Holding here, buttocks muscles lightly on. Then bring the right hand back and the left hand there to meet. Repeat our starting point in this posture. Inhale, open the arms, lift your gaze. And as you're breathing out, placing both hands into the lower back. Be mindful not to push anywhere. Engage your buttocks muscles. Lift through your heart space. Head only draws up and back if the neck is happy. If you want to go deeper, you can even touch your heels. Keeping a sense of support through your glutes, as well as a sense of lifting from the sternum. And then release gently. As you come back up into standing, bring your hands to your thighs, move the hips a little bit side to side and find your way back down onto the heels. Placing your hands down onto the mat to support you if you need that. Tuck the chin in and place your head down onto the floor. If this is too much, please use your support underneath the head. If you want to go further, roll to the top of the head. You might enjoy that with the hands down by the sides, so to bring some weight out of the head. However, if you want that little bit more, you might lift the arms behind,
interlace your hands, Charlie's Angels mudra, as the index fingers might be touching. So we're in a rabbit pose with huge ears. To release from here, your arms might drop alongside the body, and you're sliding your hips back to your heels into full or supported child's pose. And I invite you to stay there for a few breaths and to return your awareness to the in-breath where the belly softens and the out-breath where the belly lightly contracts. From here now, let's slide the arms towards the front of the mat. Take a breath in as you rise up onto all fours. I will ask you to extend your right leg out and plant the foot onto the ground. To take a breath in and lift the right arm for a supported side plank. As usual, if you would like a full side plank, maybe extending the left leg as well. It's not essential, and you could reach your right arm over the head. No matter if your knee is on or off the mat, you could also lift the right leg, pointing out through the toes if that is yours. Then release only the arm down and slide your right knee forward. We're engaging into a half pigeon, but you don't have to come very far. If it's not for you, roll onto your back as you might extend the left leg backwards, keeping the right knee in alignment with the hip. The right foot could come a little bit forward on the mat if that suits your body, but we will only be here and opening all the way through the front. Rather than putting the weight down today, we're more after the openness, the length that comes into the front. Stay here for one more breath. Then plant your hands down. Lift the hips a little and slide your right leg back. So we're in a kneeling plank. And on your out breath now, lower down onto the front of your body. Maybe even the forehead comes to rest onto the ground. I would ask you to bring your arms by your sides, but to turn the palms of the hands down so the thumbs are pointing outwards. And this is perfect as is, and you might place your chin down onto the mat. Your choice, however, is to slide the arms while rolling the body side to side underneath the body, if that works for you. Again, it's just a choice. On the next breath in now, let's lift the right leg up, keeping the pelvis grounded, just extending back into your leg. And release that down. Left leg, take a breath in, lift the left leg. And bring it back down. Rolling side to side, if you had your arms underneath, place them down by the sides of the ribcage. Take a breath in, find your way up onto your all fours. Bring the knees in and come to sit on the heels. However, if you can't sit here, you can stand on the knees again. Let's bring the hands to the heart space. On a breath in, open the arms, lifting the gaze. On a breath out, bring your hands back down in front of the chest. We'll only do that once more, lifting the arms, inhaling. And as you're exhaling this time, wrap your arms around your head, taking a hold of the elbows. Let the shoulders relax as much as is possible. Maybe noticing that you are in a back bend and that's likely not very supported. Instead of drawing the tailbone down, pull on the lower abdomen and draw that down towards the tailbone. Noticing how the body is likely to adjust from here. We will change our grip. Take a breath in, open the arms again, and bring them back down into heart space when exhaling. Inhaling, lifting the arms once more. And now, as you come around, if you don't think about it, you do it in the same way, and then swap the sides around. So you're holding on in an uncomfortable way. Softening again into the shoulders, and then activating the lower abs as you draw them down towards your tailbone. Noticing how much support there is for your posture. On a breath in, lift and open again. On a breath out, bring your hands down to your heart space. We will lean forward as we're returning onto all fours. Extending your left leg back. Take a breath in and lift the left arm. Now just notice something I automatically do for stabilization, and that is to bring the lower foot a little bit backwards. But you could also choose to extend the lower leg completely into full side plank. Next option is to extend your arm over the head. And yet another option is to lift the left leg. Maybe pointing out through the toes, finding the length in the body. Bringing your left hand down and your left knee forward. You can also roll again onto your back as we extend the right leg back. Now left knee stays in line with the hip, but your left foot could come a little bit forward if you choose to. Coming up onto the fingertips then and extending into the front. Get a sense of lifting through the sternum, lifting through the chin. Maybe the gaze is up. Maybe your eyes are closed while you're gazing. And breathe. Breathe into the space that you're creating in the front of your body. As we release that, place the hands down, lift the hips slightly and slide your knee back. And when exhaling, lower down onto the front of your body once more. Bring the arms back down alongside the body and once again turning the thumbs outwards. This time we're leaving the arms out from underneath, unless you insist for the first one. And we'll take a breath in to lift both legs. See if you can keep your chin grounded, your hands grounded. And then release it. Next one, we'll take a full flight. As you take a breath in, lift the arms, the head, the chest. Stretch down into your toes, open through the fingers. Keep the gaze lightly forward, but down. And now turn the palms upwards as you release your right ear to the mat and relax for a moment. Noticing how it feels to bend backwards today. We will repeat the back bend. So if this was strong enough for you or the previous variation, repeat that again. Otherwise, lengthen your legs back out. Interlace your hands behind your back, lengthening the arms down the back. Center your head. On a breath in, lift the head, the chest, the legs, and maybe the arms. So you've got choices here. You can keep the palms open and wide, or you can try and draw them in together. Noticing how this feels in your shoulders. No right or wrong there. See if you can hold for just 2 more breaths. And once you've completed them, arms again by the sides, left ear to the floor, and releasing your back bend. Allowing a few breaths just to be there. Then place your hands down by the sides of the rib cage, lifting up onto all fours and stretching the body back into child's pose. I encourage you to keep this child's pose active, however. So the forearms off the floor, the fingers wide, and the whole palms of the hands grounded onto the floor. The head may or may not touch the ground, but I would ask you to notice the positioning of the shoulders. Are you holding any tension there? Can you release the shoulders, soften them? And it might be that it helps to gently soften the elbows as well. That doesn't mean the arms need to be restful, just mindful about what serves you here best. If you've created that space around your shoulders, watch it in your mind's eye. Keep it in that relaxed way, which usually includes a bit of space around your upper back and shoulder blades. As you maintain that, take a breath in and come up onto all fours. Tuck the toes under, and on your out breath, lift the knees up for down dog. And then check back in with that space around your shoulders, where you're able to maintain it. Maybe adjusting a little bit. And if it works for you, you could start to move into the legs, but keep the upper body aligned for now. Encouraging your heels down towards the floor, one after the other. Then walking the feet all the way to the top end of your mat. Take a breath in as you slide your hands up your legs and lengthen your spine forward. And as you're breathing out now, folding completely. Let your head go. Let the shoulders relax towards the floor. The hands hang down towards the ground. You could come into your favorite forward bend as well if you've got a preference there. But making sure that your feet are parallel, that you are supporting yourself, and that might mean that your knees are a bit bent or even a lot. And then just breathe. The weight just a slight bit forward within the feet towards the balls of the feet. And taking longer out breaths now. The in-breath, that tad bit shorter than the exhalation. And noticing if this slight activation of the lower belly actually helps with the deepening of forward fold. Waiting for an out breath, activating just that lower belly and starting to curl up very slowly, and you might need a couple of breaths to get into standing. Take your shoulders, roll them back and down, maybe a few times. As you come to stand on the mat, I recommend a little bit of distance between your feet. Taking a breath in to reach the arms out and up, maybe lifting the gaze in the process. And as you're exhaling, bring your hands down in front of your heart. Turn your fingers forward as you're inhaling, maintaining the prayer position. And then as you're exhaling, extend the arms towards the front. Turn the palms up, breathing in to open the arms. And exhaling, palms down, and release the arms by the sides. We'll do that one more time. Breathing in to lift the arms, maybe opening the front of the body. And when breathing out, bring the hands down in front of the chest. Inhaling just to turn the hands forward. Exhaling to extend the arms to the front. Open the palms, breathe in, open the arms. Turn the palms down and exhale to release.
Now I will invite you in my guidance to keep moving the arms like this, but we'll do that in a slightly supported tree pose. So we come to stand more on the left foot, and we slide the heel up, opening the knee here to the side. If your balance is very solid, you could step the foot up as well, if that's your choice. Standing on the left leg and really encouraging to lift from the side. Then we add back the arm movement. On a breath in, lift the arms out and up. Gaze lifting is here an extra challenge for your balance. On your breath out, bring the hands down in front of your heart. On the inhale, just turn your fingers forward. Exhaling to extend the arms to the front. Turn the palms up, breathe in to open. And when you're exhaling, land your foot and release your arms. We will shift sides to the right leg. As you either place your heel up or you've got a solid balance, you might lift the foot. Becoming strong again in the standing leg so the posture is right. On the in-breath, reach your arms out and up. Lift off gaze is optional or keep it steady. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, turn your fingers forward. Exhale to extend the arms. Turn the palms up, breathing in to open. And as you turn the palms down, land the foot and release the arms on your out breath. So that's all that I'm asking you to do, and we'll repeat that once more to each side, making it more flowing. If you need to take a bit longer, please do so. Let's start standing on the left leg. Bring your foot up as you inhale to lift the arms. Exhaling to bring your hands to the heart. Inhale, turn the hands forward. Exhale, extend the arms. Inhale, open the arms out. Exhale, land the foot and release your arms. We'll change sides. Breath in, lifting your left leg, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, hands to the heart space. Inhale, turn the fingers forward. Exhaling and extend the arms. Open out on the in-breath and land again on the out-breath. Allow you a moment just to stand here in mountain pose. I'll give you two options for the last round on each side. You can repeat as we just did. We'll keep it flowing. I'll keep you talking through. Or you could keep your big toe on the floor in that case, but close the eyes as you repeat the sequence. Your choice. Right foot comes up, breath in, arms are lifting. Exhaling, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, turn your fingertips forward. Exhale, extend the arms to the front. Inhale, open the arms out wide. And land as you're breathing out to release your arms. We'll change sides. Inhale, left foot comes up, arms reaching up. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Fingers forward, breathing in. Exhale, arms long to the front. Inhaling, open the arms. Exhaling, land to stand. Release the arms. Maybe the eyes close or they keep closed. Turn the palms of the hands forward now and stand in mountain pose. Doing nothing but observing again. Observing how you're feeling right now here in this moment. On the next inhalation, just reach your arms back out and up, maybe getting into the extension of the front. And when exhaling, knees are soft and folding forward. Inhale, find a half lift here.
And as you're breathing out, step your feet back into a downward facing dog. We will take a breath in now to soften the arms and the legs. And on the out breath, step your right foot a bit forward, lower your left knee down to the ground. You can still adjust the position here. So making sure your knee ends up over your ankle joint and that you've got a good distance between the knee on the floor and the foot in front. We will rise up. On a breath in, lifting the arms out and up. Then bending the elbows as you're breathing out and bring the hands behind the head. Interlace them here and rest the head into your hands. What I'd ask you to do now is open through the heart and really trusting the head down into your hands. Lifting through the sternum once more. Taking a deeper breath in here. Full breath out. Inhale, open even more. And then as you're breathing out, curl it in and lower your nose down towards him. Release the hands down onto the floor. And maybe you're sliding this right foot a little bit forward, pulling lightly back on your toes. Hands can be on the floor or on support. And then an out breath here as you lower your nose towards the knee. If you feel this is not quite enough extension for you, you can slide this heel forward and make it a Hanumanasana or splits. But still, as we lower the nose down, we're breathing out, no matter your extension of this posture. We will then soften into the front knee. If the heel was sliding out, bring it back. We will step the knee back down. We'll tuck the toes back under and lift both knees off the ground to extend up for downward dog. In your down dog, just checking in with the shoulders for a moment. On the next breath in, soften your knees, your elbows. And when breathing out, step the left foot a bit forward, lower your right knee to the ground, untuck the toes, and adjust the front leg. So that you've got, again, your knee over your ankle and a gap between the front foot and the knee on the ground. Then take a breath in, lifting the arms up. Bring the hands to touch and bend the elbows as you bring them behind the head. You might choose to change the interlace as you open the elbows and rest the head into your hands. On a breath in, let's lift the sternum, open the elbows more, maybe lifting the gaze and holding here, the extension of the front of the body. Inhaling again, and as you're breathing out, draw the elbows together, lower your nose towards your knee. And then release the hands to the ground. Lifting the sole of the left foot and maybe sliding the heel out a bit more. Take a breath in. And on the out breath, then lower your nose towards the knee. Same option here. If you want it stronger, slide the left leg out to the front, work more towards the splits. Otherwise, staying here and bringing attention back to the out breath. And with that, maybe that light activation of the lower belly to help us with the forward bend. As we release the foot, slide it back and bring the knee to the ground. Tuck the toes under and lift the knees again into our last downward dog for today. Well, I don't know what you're doing today, but for now. I will ask you to walk the feet up towards the hands, but then to lower your knees down and to come to sit. Extending the legs out in front and placing your hands loosely behind at just the fingertips. If you need things for relaxation, and we will need a block. I will ask you to keep the fingertips there while you're lowering, but to only lightly touch there, or as much as you need to. And then maybe they're crawling forward as you lower the whole upper body down onto the ground. Stepping your feet onto the floor. Have them in a comfortable distance, the block in reach of one of your hands. And as you're breathing in, just flatten the spine out by tilting the pelvis. And as you're breathing out, squeeze the buttocks and lift the hips just enough so you can slide a flat block underneath them. Resting the block right underneath the sacrum, but keeping the rest of the spine free. Or if your lower back is really in trouble, I find it better in that case to slide the block a bit further away from me. My lower back is a little bit sore, so I will do so. And just slide it that far forward that it's still the buttocks that's resting down on it, but the tailbone isn't. And it feels as if you are slipping off this block. So 2 options, under the sacrum or just the buttocks. And you might then be able to extend your legs out. I find it better when it's only the buttocks down, because here the lower back gets completely lengthened and there's hardly any back bend in it. Have a play, see what works for you. We will use this as our resting pose. If it doesn't feel right for you to rest in it as it is right now, remove the block and simply come into full Shavasana pose. If you're feeling okay here and you would like to extend it further, you could rest your arms loosely over the head onto the floor. Elbows could be bent here, arms can be long, whatever serves you there best. What I'd love you to focus on, however, is now to surrender. Let go of the breath as it was throughout the practice and just breathe in and out of your nose. Allowing, especially now on your out breath, to release and surrender into that you experience here. Unless it is pain, of course, then change your position. If you are in this fully extended pose right now, slide the arms back down by your sides. Step your feet back onto the ground. Squeeze the buttocks just to lift the hips as much as is needed to remove the block. And lower your pelvis down to the ground. Allow your feet to come a little bit wider, the arms to be open, and either gently or quite far, depending on what feels right, but definitely slowly, moving the knees now from side to side. When you completed this round, bring the knees back up and either keep them like this for just a few breaths here in full resting pose or legs out long. Notice your body's abilities to release onto the floor. Noticing where you're holding tension. Consciously aiming to release the tension. Your focus, release of tension together with your breath. Then let that go. And allow yourself to be in the posture where you might choose to follow your breathing, or a few more words about bittersweet. Imagine stepping into a dark hallway. As you enter, the door behind you shuts. You may feel panic. After a few moments, you hear laughter down the hall. You recognize the voices. A door opens. You have reached your destination. You enter the party and the guests toast you. Your friend puts their arm around you. The hallway to the light isn't an easy place to be. As you allow your breathing to deepen just slightly, I would love you to keep the body in a restful state, yet still. And with as little disturbance as is possible, unless you really can't sit comfortably, come into a seated position. Please do support yourself in that seat, maybe with the block or cushioning. And as you come to sit, the eyes closed, shoulders soft, spine long. Sitting upright with the least effort that is possible, and noticing any tension that might be there. See if you can soften the tension. Being aware once more of the flow of your breath. The words I will be reading to you now as a way of contemplating a little bit more into what we just thought about come from a book called Warrior of Light. The warrior knows that there are occasional pauses in the struggle. There is no point in forcing things. You must have patience and wait for the two sides to clash again. In the silence of the battlefield, he listens to his heart beating. He notices that he is tense, that he is afraid. The warrior takes stock of his life. He makes sure that his sword is sharp, his heart satisfied.
that faith still burns in his soul. He knows that maintenance is as important as action. There's always something not quite right. And the warrior takes advantage of those moments when time stops to equip himself better. Which is what we can choose while we are in that dark hallway, where one door closes and another or window opens. There's this time where we're moving through darkness, through not knowing. A great time to focus on our skills. Taking a deep breath in now, reach your arms out and up one more time. Bring the palms of the hands together and slowly passing them by your third eye point, for thoughts, the mouth for words, and down to the heart. Our place of knowing, place of our soul or our higher selves. And from this precious space, we extend to each other. Namaste.